We are the Nerd Eternal Network.
Hello and welcome to Icons of Wider World here on the Nerd Eternal Network. I'll be your GM for the day, Jason, and with me will be Mike playing Serpent Boy, Curtis debuting the Comet,
Hola.
Taylor playing Patience, and Zach playing Frost Giant.
Howdy, howdy.
Now, last week we wrapped up an adventure with the Haunted and the Misfits, which I guess is their official name now.
Might as well be.
Don't know if it's an in-setting name or if it's just what we're going to call them so we know who we're talking about. So this week we jump to something else, and to somewhere else. Now, Curtis, had you picked out a particular city for the Comet to be from, or where he usually hangs out?
Had not. He could be San Francisco. It doesn't really matter.
Well, for whatever reason...
We're not in the United States all of a sudden.
No, we are. Having called it the wider world, I do need to do more international stuff. And that's coming. I do have some ideas. But currently, It is Miami.
It'll work.
Now, he doesn't have to be from Miami, but for whatever reason, he is in Miami. But he flies, he can probably get around pretty easy.
Hunting the elusive Florida man.
I don't think you want to find Florida Man. I think Florida Man's probably just a no-go. Heroes just don't interfere with him unless he's, wreaking mass destruction on other people.
He's the land shark of villains.
Ooh, Land Shark versus Florida Man.
Oh boy!
Oh, so whoever wins, we lose.
You man.
Well, the good news is Land Shark saved the city from Florida Man. The bad news is he leveled it doing it.
You're welcome.
Now you can build New Miami.
Alright. So you are in Miami. Now the rest of you, Serpent Boy, Frost Giant, and Patience, there is a concert that you have come down for. Did we... I've got to take better notes. Where was it Frost Giant and Serpent Boy were living?
Oh, shit.
We were in...
Where there's a roof
Well, we might not have actually defined it.
and a wet bar available.
Yeah, I remember us talking about it. I think we didn't actually define where we were at. At least I haven't seen it in my notes yet. Because we had the same question last time. I think we just kind of waffled on making a decision about where they all lived.
Well, welcome to Miami. Welcome to the wider world, which is all the southeastern states.
Yeah, really.
This team's in Georgia.
It's the wider
This team,
world.
Florida.
Part of the world that I live in. Period. Well, y'all been to Egypt. Y'all been to South America.
I want to say we said they were in New England, which is a region, but
Well, that still gives us a general area.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't Manchester, Manford, or Rhodes
Ferry.
Ferry. Thank you. I was blanking out for a second.
No problem.
Which is
Doc.
our two made-up cities that we deal with occasionally. Oh, we just lost us a Curtis.
What? Oh, jeez. Oh, yep, there it went.
He's been having...
Yeah, his computer's been acting funny, so that just may happen periodically. He's still on Discord, so I don't know if it's the Discord or the Zoom. We shall carry on. So anyway, the three of you have come down for a concert.
I got my parents' permission and everything.
Well, I think at the moment, Patience is pretty much.
Wait,
Okay, yeah,
Morphin.
Curtis is rebooting. It's pretty much Frost Giant's, second youthful ward.
He's collecting like their Pokemon. Well, if this isn't a Kids Bop concert, it's going to be interesting seeing Patience get into this. Do we know who are we seeing?
That's a good question. Let me look at my notes. That was the wrong note. What was it Frost Giant was into? Icelandic death metal or something?
Yeah, Icelandic metal.
Yeah, same with Serpent Boy, or at least the Norse theme stuff, which I guess there's overlap.
Let's see.
Especially Icy Daggers of Death.
That's the name I'm looking for. It's in the
Oh,
list
okay.
here somewhere. They're
That's like
not
my cousin's
they're not the main. They're not the big name that's bringing people here. They're the opening act.
If they needed the help, Serpent Boy would have volunteered to run the T-shirt, the merch table.
Maybe you didn't write his name there. Her name.
Oh,
down.
excuse me. It's the band is Icy Daggers of Agony.
That's what I was thinking. Or I was thinking it was something other than death at the end.
I'm the one who came up with it. How did I forget that?
Because sometimes things are cringy enough that you just purge them from the mind.
Why is that cringy?
Because
It-
it
That's
screams
really
that you're 14 and sad on the inside.
Maybe it's a
Hey,
young
wait,
man.
I'm
Extremely cheesy name.
14 and sad on the inside. This band's awesome.
Alright, if I remember right, his cousin... I say remember right, I'm looking right at the notes.
But person.
Yeah. And she was the drummer for the band.
Oh. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Now, are her and Serpent Boy already acquainted?
Yeah, she plays in my online D&D game.
Okay. So that is
And,
probably
we're-
where you got the tickets for this. Y'all just had to
we are
drive down
cousins.
or whatever.
Huh.
And the venue is back here in this little green section of the city. You can see my wonderful coloring job.
Oh, that's you. Okay.
What's the colored part?
All right, let's see. If you
Near
zoom out on the
Brownsville?
map, you've got the little over on the seaside. You've got like the kind of pinkish
I see.
areas. It's supposed to be purple,
I do see
red,
where
blue,
you-
and green. But
I do see where you're signaling. Oh, okay, that's the coloring. Okay.
yeah.
I got you. Yes.
Trying to emulate the style of map that they used in the Dawn of the Daikaiju adventure. I'm not running that exact adventure, so I didn't just use their map.
Everything all right, Curtis?
I think so. We'll see if I start freaking out again.
Alright, let me re-invite you right quick.
Zoom's still opening up.
Okay, not a big deal. We were just pointing out everybody else is down in Miami for a concert. Servant Boy's cousin is in the band playing the opening act
Sweet.
and sent them tickets.
And my sound was cutting in and out. Did we establish why the comment was there? Is he just
We had
happened to
not.
be-
Wait till you got back on.
Okay.
You could be going to a concert. You could be in town investigating something.
I'm good with a concert. He is of the age that a concert would be something he would do.
So he's alive?
Well, he's in his 20s. The concerts are bigger for people in their 20s, I think.
Statistically, probably.
I don't know. As someone who went to Exit 111, there are a whole lot of 50 and 60-year-olds shouting Slayer.
Well, Slayer goes back to like what, the 80s?
At least.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much their fan base.
Regardless.
Serpent Bite is
No,
awesome.
I don't mean to age discriminate. I just think it's more important in general for people in their 20s.
I wasn't saying anything about age discrimination. I'm just sitting here back with my millennial Zoomer mentality going. I just remember all those old folks that had bought everything.
You know,
Showing up in places.
there is always a very vocal group of old folks at concerts. It doesn't matter.
Well, they're all going to.
Probably Justin Bieber. Yeah, Bieber. It's, you know.
Well,
I mean,
at this point, all the bands they still like are now in their reunions or charging like $100 a ticket, so they're finally at the age where they can afford that.
Right.
All right. So anyway, y'all are all at this concert. The opening act is what was it? Icy Daggers of Agony.
That's right. Icy Daggers, Agony.
No, that's with an A. It's daggers, not diggers.
Maybe it should be Icy Daggers of Ironic Agony.
I don't know. Does Icelandic death metal do irony,
Oh, most certainly not.
or are they super sincere about everything?
That's my impression. It's not gore.
Anyway, so the band shoots, starts up. They're doing an okay job. The crowd seems to be into it. You guys are into it. Patient's got some funny looks coming in, but she was being accompanied by an adult, a big blue adult that everyone was really afraid to say much to. So
It's probably the most popular person in the crowd.
quite possibly.
Yeah, rocking out young.
And I'm assuming y'all either avoid. Well, I'm guessing. Does Icelandic death metal? They're the ones that do the mosh pits. Some.
Imagine they would.
I imagine you keep patients out of that.
Yeah.
Or else put her on Frost Giant's shoulders, because, he would tower above her.
I mean, patients will sit there and be like, I have a force, unless someone with superpowers is suddenly gonna be moshing, and she looks at Frost Giant. Alright, yeah, I'll stay out of the mosh pit.
Kind of funny if Serpent Boy got tried to get in and just ended up tying himself in knots.
No, he falls down and gets stomped on by the mosh pit. When they find him later, he's all cartoon-like
Yeah,
in that
exactly.
shape.
I bet that's exactly what happened. It'll be the best night of my life.
I've learned something very disturbing about Serpent Boy today.
Being stepped on by a mob was the best day of his life.
Do tread on me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was raised to be, when you're raised to devour the world, what makes a good night isn't necessarily. I have lower standards for what constitutes what makes a good night.
Well, you were hatched out and partially raised by a supervillain, so you've probably had some pretty bad ones. So anyway, concert's going great. In the middle of the fourth or fifth song, Icy Daggers is probably getting ready. This is probably their last song before they bring in the main event. All the lights in the venue come on. Where they had it, dimmer, and you had lights going on the stage and stuff. Just all the lights turn on. The singer kind of half stumbles over a word when it first happens, but then he just keeps going. you see him kind of throw a glance back, kind of off stage, but they
So
don't
not
let
like the
that
half.
stop them.
Yeah, not like the halfway going up like they do with TeknoAXE, but like full on as if the show was over.
Yeah, just all the lights come on.
Hmm.
You know, but they keep, you know, like I said, stumbles over a word, kind of glances back, but they keep going, you know, figuring somebody must have just screwed up on the control board or something. Then a fellow with a suit kind of comes running out on stage and kind of waves him down. The crowd starts booing a little bit as the band stops playing.
I'm gonna be with him.
Uh,
Where's our encore?
you know, the lead singer's kind of like, you know, kind of got his hands up, you know, like, Servant Boy can see his cousin back at the drums, you know, using some of the fancy 4-letter words. She doesn't have a mic close enough to her mouth to really be catching any of it.
We can read her lips. We know what she's saying.
Yes, the close up on the news later will have to blur her lips. But the guy runs up to, like, you know, one of the microphones. I'm sorry. There's an emergency. We are evacuating. Don't panic. We should have plenty of time. They're you know, evacuate. He kind of has to settle himself. They're actually evacuating this part of town. So please, everybody, you know, orderly fashion. You know, he does the typical orderly fashion. You know, don't dawdle, but don't run anybody over. A few people in the, you know, everybody in the crowd starts filing out. A few people are shouting at him what the emergency is, but he doesn't really respond to them. He just keeps, you know, telling them to, you know, exit in orderly fashion. You know, and then turns around and kind of starts ushering the band off.
Patience will tug at Frost Giant's pants leg real quick. Shoulder.
Yes,
Shoulder. She reaches up. She knows how disorderly large groups are when they're going in one direction. Shoulder.
What's Frost? Does Frost Giant have a other name? Like a
it was
person name.
Newt.
Newt.
Or Newt Kristoff.
Okay.
How big is Frost Giant?
He's
Yes.
almost 7 feet tall. He's a
And
big
you can get
dude.
up, and you can get up to 25 if I recall correctly. Is that right?
Yeah.
Newt, maybe we should get back with Ubba if there's something crazy going on here in town.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Who knows? Might be in for a fun night, huh? Just slaps Serpent Boy in the back.
So
Let's,
y'all, so which way are y'all making y'all's way?
towards the stage. See if I can slink in through the chaos.
Are you trying to be particularly stealthy, or are you just hanging out next to the big blue guy?
Well,
Child
yeah, a
or
big
something.
blue guy and a reptilian teenager. I don't know how stealthy we could possibly be. Although we do have a chaotic crowd filing out.
We also have a small telepathic girl.
Well, there's that too.
She can just kind of be like, whatever this emergency is more important than the large man walking towards the stage.
Let's see. You've got telepathy, but that's just communication.
And healing, if I recall, if I had in my notes. I try to. Maybe I just like try to do a serpent thing, just kind of like use my stretching to kind of like slither on the ground.
You can give me a stealth
so that I
roll.
can step.
The bouncers or security guys are already kind of moving to intercept, with great trepidation, moving to intercept Frost Giant.
Stealth. So that would be coordination plus
Yes.
stealth. And may I add I just took a power specialty in stretching. May I add that point to this attempt?
Yeah. You're basically dropping to the ground and kind of slithering up under the seats to get close.
Yeah.
where it's harder for them to see. So yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, dodging all the like spilled beer bottles and
Well, there's
cups
no
and-
way to dodge all the nastiness, but you avoid the worst of it.
Yeah. Ugh. Oh well. What did I do here? I've generated a 10 total.
Oh yeah. Between you going under the seats and the distraction that Frost Giant by its very nature is making, you managed to slip past all of them up on stage without any trouble. Frost Giant, you have several of the security guys kind of step to you, sir. We'll need you to evacuate, back out the way you came.
We're with a band. We're just gonna hook up with them. Don't worry about it.
Did they ever give us stage passes?
Oh, you probably do. In fact, I'm sure your cousin would have gotten those for you.
Yeah, we show up the stage passes.
One of the guys is looking at it. The other guy's like, "Do we still honor those in an emergency?"
That's a good question.
Yes. Get me. If there's an emergency, don't you want me around? These guns. Just flex one arm.
Patience, as he flexes, pops up into the air and then falls back down on his arm.
One of the guys shrugs. Okay, which you said you were with the band? Which one do you know? I'm sorry, you say something, Zach? I thought I heard something in it.
About the drummer.
Gotcha.
And then Patience chips in of the icy daggers of agony. There's multiple bands here. She looks towards Frost Giant and says it.
Yeah, okay. I guess let me. One of the guys here escort you back there, and the one he points at looks at him with kind of this "why me" look. Well, this has been going on. Servant boy, you're already back there, and you see, both bands, the roadies, are running around gathering their stuff. The guy that is apparently the manager of the venue is, trying to tell them to just go, leave your stuff, come back for it later, but they're everything they can, all the instruments and everything they can break down quick, they're just breaking down and heading out to their vehicles with.
Okay, I can. In order to rush everyone, I was first of all just shout out Abba, Abba, and here, let me help. And then if I can, just like use my stretching powers to kind of like envelop the equipment, even if it's not fully broken down yet, just to get everyone moving.
How strong is your character?
Not particularly strong. Actually, no, I'm pretty strong. 6. So
yeah, I was thinking you were. I think what
stronger than I look.
Yeah, because 6 is basically peak human.
Yeah.
But it's not. Your strength isn't necessarily of a natural origin, so you can look like a string bean and still just snatch up, all kinds of equipment.
Yep.
But yeah, when you yell out for her, you see a crowd of people, and you see her hand, arc up, so you know she's there. She steps out. Hey, Stretch. Did you like the show before all this was going down?
Awesome, but we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
It could be another supervillain attack, or maybe those weird dudes in armor suits that have been running around. Who knows? Got to get out.
You guys in the States have that happen all the time. There's no reason to cancel a show.
Well, maybe. Well, maybe you just need to. I don't know. Just we could always pick up afterwards. I'm sure they'll let you back on once everything's okay.
Yeah, but everybody left. Ham and Eva are probably going to come back. Oh yeah. She's like, oh yeah, take those over there.
Arm and clanging cymbals and bass guitars with me.
Yeah. Skarsgård, show me where to put this stuff.
Is she actually departing?
No, she's still hanging around with the rest of the band while you take that stuff.
Abba, we gotta go.
Yeah,
Abba.
yeah. Just let me get my stuff.
If they've got any booze, I'm gonna try to wrap that up too. If I have any limbs left.
When she ducks into the dressing room, that's what she comes back out with.
Okay, can I grab it and just kind of dangle it like a like a bit of cheese before a mouse?
You're not funny. You're not funny at all. But she does make the little half jump to try to grab it when you do that.
All right, let's drink it outside.
All right, and that's about the time
Party.
Frost John and Patient show up.
Dude, we're here.
Help carrying anything?
What's that?
Need help carrying anything? Sorry.
I think I got it.
Gummy.
It's not heavy. It's just more unwieldy than anything else.
Yeah. Let me grab some of that stuff from you.
When you do
And,
that,
he
it was
get-
like,
he get-
I couldn't wait to see him try to go through the door with all that.
Patience gets down. I'll just stand next to the violent lady. She just stands next to the drummer.
Oh, you've got another little kid. She kind of pats on the head. I guess that's why you need the third ticket. I was hoping one of you had gotten a girl. Oh yeah.
Oh, this is Patience.
I am a girl.
I mean, a girlfriend.
And she's an adorable one.
Yeah, she is. What's wrong with your eyes?
They don't work.
Oh.
Abba, that's just
Yeah.
me. I expected better of you, but
And let's see. You can sense life, right? That's how patience senses
Yeah,
work.
Patience sees the quote-unquote souls of people.
So kind of a
And
rough
they're-
outline of people. Enough that you
Yeah,
can
like-
tell that she's waving her hand in front of your face.
Yeah, like she can identify people and get like a kind of a base height size, because it more or less encompasses the body, but it's kind of an aura too.
Yeah, so you can
You
tell
know.
she's waving her hand in front of your face, like.
Yeah. But I mean, it's the thing everybody does. So
Oh well, come on, you can go with us on the bus. I assume y'all flew down and took an Uber getting here. So
Yeah, we're going on the tour bus. Like he's worried about the emergency. He's also ready to live that rock star life.
as you're doing this, the power flickers in the place, and as you're exiting the building, you hear what sounds like some kind of loud crashing or something off in the distance. Back towards the east, back towards the seafront.
what direction?
That would be east. So let me get on the map here. The venue y'all are at is here in this kind of green area. Somewhere around there.
I just need to get a quick I just need to look in the rule book real quick on range,
Yeah,
because like my extra perception goes well beyond the range of sight,
Oh,
by a decent chunk, I think, because it's a fairly high power. Let me look at benchmarks real quick.
you're saying she has sight beyond sight.
Yeah, it's detection at rank 7, and at that rank it is tens of miles.
yeah. I'm not sure Tyler got that reference, Zach, but I did. I just want you to know that.
Awesome.
So tens of miles. That's the wrong one. I'm trying to put.
And it doesn't really get obstructed by anything other than the fact that, if I tried to travel, I'd be obstructed by things, but I wouldn't know it.
Then yes, as she looks back, you see, at the ground level, you see just a mass of life forms because it's a busy city, and a lot of people are moving out of the stadium on the other side. You have a hard time picking out individuals at that kind of distance. It's just kind of all a mash of light. And then, quite a ways off, you assume you have a hard time with depth perception in this case. something is just towering over everything else. And it is not human-shaped at all.
But like, yeah, there's still tug on FG. Because you said we've stepped outside.
Yes, y'all are out behind the venue right now.
Yeah, she'll tug on FG. That direction, big thing.
I mean, big thing.
Big thing.
How big? Me big? Me when I'm ready to... Me when I'm go time big? Or...
I think it's as big as the T-Rex. Maybe bigger. It's pretty far away.
Everybody back there, their heads just snap around when the big blue man starts squeeing.
I'm gonna get the punch a giant monster. I'm gonna get the punch a giant monster. Tonight is the best night.
And that's when off in the distance you hear roaring.
Bom, bom, bom.
But it doesn't sound like one thing roaring, it sounds like three things roaring.
Oh. It's the best night ever.
It's the same kind of roar, but it's obviously like three different, I guess, voices, for lack of a better way to put it. Yeah, it'd be like if you heard three different lions roaring at one time. And that's followed by a lot more crashing.
Oh, my young friends, care to join me for a late night exercise? Which I think might count as child endangerment, but extraordinary circumstances and extraordinary people. So,
But they're extraordinary children, so that makes it okay.
yep.
Yeah.
The X-Men excuse.
Yeah.
Or the Umbrella
Yeah.
Academy.
Right. Norman is he kind of freaks out a little bit because he's like, oh, are these actual Titans? Oh boy, here. I knew this was going to happen someday. Okay, I can do this.
Starts as Lamaze breathing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, while
Deep
this is
breaths.
going on, which direction has the comet gone to get out?
Actually, he probably, since the interesting people that looked like they might be, someone he'd want to hang out with in trouble,
There's an
said they were
emergency.
with the band
there's
and
a
went
7-foot-tall blue man.
in a direction he could not go. He probably went and tried to find a relatively people-free space so that he could, I don't know, use his phone to try to figure out what the trouble is.
You can duck into a restroom or something pretty easy. Everybody's trying to get out. You pull it up on your phone. Yeah, you check the news sites. Yeah, there's some sort of. They're just calling it a giant monster attack in Miami.
At which case, he, assuming he had his costume with him, he would switch into costume.
Okay.
Because one of his things is he is kind of paranoid about people knowing who he is. And he'll fly out
Okay.
to the beach to see what's up.
So you step out of the bathroom. Several people are looking at you like.
It's like, well, when you got to go, you got to go.
But but the crowd was moving, so nobody that saw you duck in there is still there when you duck back out. So at least you hope.
Right. Well, yeah, he would reasonably assume that there's enough chaos. He wouldn't be too worried about it.
So all right, you zip off. Frost Giant and crew, how are y'all planning to get over there?
What would be the quickest but least destructive way of opening it? So it's just go through the back alleys?
Yeah, swollen up to 20. If you went to your 20, 25 whatever feet tall, you would still fit down most alleys. Let's see, at that height, you wouldn't be stepping completely over streets. So you still have to watch for that. And there's a lot of traffic out. It's all, everybody's apparently vacating these parts of town. So trying to take a regular vehicle would be difficult. So hoofing, it's really your only option at the moment.
All right.
Let's see now. Did Serpent Boy have any?
I can stun stretching, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. You can use stretching like swimming or like swinging, basically.
And yeah, and also if there, I know there aren't any. We're not near water yet, but
No.
but, yeah.
And I'm not sure if right here by the seaside how Miami's sewer system works. You probably don't want to swim through that anyway.
Yeah, the concert floor is gross enough.
Exactly. Take a wash.
Alright, so y'all take off east, and I don't think Patience had any sort of travel power.
Just
She
carry her
does.
on my shoulder.
Called Frost Giant.
Exactly.
Oh no, I've fallen off the giant man force field myself.
Boing.
Okay, we're good to go.
Well, when he swells up that big, I just imagine you standing on his shoulder, hanging onto his hair.
Are you at full height?
Yeah. Pretty sure I can only go to full height.
Yes, the way you've bought yours, I was looking at it yesterday. Yeah, you've got
Max only.
max only.
Yeah, I just
Not
I just
permanent,
sit in
because
it.
you can't turn it off, but it's either off or it's on.
But his clothes get bigger too, right? So I can just sit in his like a chest pocket.
Yeah, his clothes get bigger too. But he does tend to like rip off his shirt as he grows.
Hulk Hogan
Oh
style.
well, never mind then.
No, he'll keep the shirt on, just comfy free to sit in.
He'll wait till he gets to the shore. All right, sits you down, then rips it off Hulk Hogan style. Everybody's watching. All right, so y'all heading across. The Comet will get there well in advance. Let's see. Comet.
And the comet is flying, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does Patience notice
Roll
one of
me
the
an
beings of light moving through the air?
Roll me an awareness. You didn't beat it by much, but you did beat it. So yes, you see a life form go heading towards the disturbance. And you can tell that's human sized.
Yeah.
As it gets
I will
closer to
attempt
the
it.
monster, as it gets closer to whatever that big something is, you realize, oh, it's further away and bigger than I thought it was. Ooh. So I'm going to
Right.
throw the comet down.
I'm not sure I want to tell the excited person that just yet. But Patience will try to send a telepathic message.
What is the range in your telepathy? Or does it say?
It's rank 5. I'm not sure if telepathy. I think it may just be a. Let me look at telepathy.
It may be like within sight or sensory, whatever.
Yeah, let me double check on the power before I call that though.
All right, so I'm dropping y'all down in the areas that you are currently in. I'm zooming in my map, and it's the audience map I need to zoom in so they can see who is who and what is what.
Ba-da-da-da. It just says telepathy can read minds and transmit your thoughts to others. It does not specify a range.
That's interesting.
Which I think that's more of a you just have to know that brain is there.
Yeah, it may very well be. You said you had how many ranks of telepathy?
5.
Well, even if we use the distance thing, that's still 10 or 20 blocks, so that's, you know. So, yeah, if you wanted to send the comet a message, you could.
Yeah, it'll just be the... you know... If you're about to go check... If you're about to fight those things, do you want assistance?
I guess I'm closer than it's like these things are huge. Yeah, any help would be great.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and give him a rank 4 force field, which will last for the next 4 rounds.
All
So I
right.
don't know how fast he's getting to the fight. It's just while I can go ahead and do that, just do it.
All right, and what level of protection does the comet? All right, so oh dang, that's right. That's what he's really good at. All right, so the force shield is basically damage reduction. He's already got a lot of that though. So it would essentially give him a +1. So, Curtis, your invulnerability will be 1 higher. Which is,
Pretty high anyway.
Gonna be pretty impressive, yeah.
But it's only when he's flying. So if he crashes, then
Then you still have the extra 4.
I still have the extra 4. When I fall to the ground, if I get stepped on by a monster, I'll have 4 protection.
And
All right.
and yeah, Patience will also mention a frost giant and certain boy. There's a flying man going to fight these things too.
Oh, is it the Primus? Is it somebody else?
Younger, less old, less
good.
less scary.
That means the fight will actually still be going on when we get there.
I don't know. Patience probably hasn't met the Primus. And the news would talk about him like you'd expect the news to talk about Superman, you know. The public does not realize how jaded he's become. That's really just the spirit guides.
So is the Primus kind of like Superman on the tobacco kryptonite now?
He's well, like to the public, he still puts on a pretty good face. You know, still thinks of, you know, he still realizes that he even though he's in semi-retirement, he's still something of a role model for a lot of folk. So he tries to live up to that. He just can't put the act on for other people in the business anymore. And you know, he's old, and you young whippersnapper heroes just aren't doing the job like it ought to be done. You know, that kind of thing. All right, so the next round is y'all are all moving forward. The comet, you are now in the area that it is in. Everybody else is one behind you.
So is it a 3-headed monster or is it 3 monsters?
It is 3-headed.
Okay.
Very
yeah,
long. Go ahead.
When I'm telepathically communicating with Patience, she'll get an image of the comet, you know, trying to talk like Jet Jaguar with the robot. The robot hand signals.
The life form you see above you is flailing around bizarrely. Clearly he's having a seizure.
Yeah, the neck appears to have no bone in it at all. It just wobbles.
But, where was I going? Oh, yes.
Sorry, Hydra's my favorite monster.
The creature. That's where we were. 3-headed, long serpentine necks go back into a fairly bulky body. Think like, kind of serpentine necks. The heads end in something, or the necks end in a heads that look. Have you ever seen like the fossils of any of those old armored fish? They didn't really have teeth. They had the bony plates, but it almost looked like fangs. And they had the bone plate across the head and the big eyes. That's kind of what the necks end in. They go down. They plug into a kind of a big, thick body. It has web-clawed forelimbs that are down on the ground. Along the back, it has something of a shell. Think more like it's not like a turtle shell or a hard turtle shell. Think more like an armadillo or a leatherback sea turtle. It doesn't look bony at all, but it's clearly, armored back there.
All those hours playing Super Mario were not wasted.
It's got a very.
Does it look like it has joints like an armadillo's shell?
Right. So its mobility is not as restricted as some. It has almost a crocodilian tail, but when you get back to the end, it's flute. Like a shark's or an ichthyosaur, since this thing looks kind of reptilian. Its back limbs are smaller, and with it up on land, they're really just kind of folded up against the body. So the front limbs kind of pull it, and then the back half of the body kind of squirms like a snake. Is kind of how it seems to be moving.
Ew. So I guess it looks like he's actually starting to make it on land, right?
Yes, he has encountered the first kind of line of buildings and been smashing his way through.
All right.
I
will. Do we need to roll initiative?
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that at this point. Let me first empty the order from the last time. Add a turn. Alright, so everybody give me a coordination roll.
I better be back of the line. Good job, team.
Woo! Go, team, go.
Way to go, the medic goes last. That's where they need to be.
Just 1 second. I gotta pull up the Well, that's great. Where did I put the stats for Yon Monster?
You put it in 3 separate Word documents that you want to stitch together.
No. That would have been oddly brilliant. I wish I'd thought of it. Ah, there it is. I was looking for like a Word file when I had it as a PDF. All right. Just need to see what his coordination is.
I'd guess pretty good. That's
All right.
pretty good.
And then the Comet got a 9. Serpent Boy got a 7. Frost Giant got an 8. And Patience got a 6.
Yup.
Put them in descending order. This creature is quite large. I think the growth chart stops at 10, which is... Do they list 10 as 120 feet tall?
I don't think it actually gives any listings for how tall something is.
In the baseline book, it doesn't. The Greater Powers book had something.
Oh.
I looked at it just last night, and I remember thinking the high end was not all that high, really. But that may have also been... Great Power may have also been for the previous edition of the game. I forget.
It was for the previous edition.
Though you got the PDF, I think he went back and made some minor adjustments to it after Assembled came out, because it's all pretty much compatible. But anyway, this thing is definitely bigger than the dinosaur you fought.
Level 10 growth is 120 feet.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It's bigger than that, but it's definitely bigger than any of the dinosaurs you fought. It's probably 120 feet at the shoulder, and then it's got all that neck, which sometimes is more or less straight up, and sometimes it's outward, and they're kind of flailing around. Wrecking buildings, tossing cars.
Should be hard to miss.
You see, Comet, there's a few police officers shooting at it. You have a brief second of thinking, well, that's kind of dumb. Your pistols ain't going to do anything. And then you realize it's literally they're trying to get its attention, just to draw it away from other people. But it doesn't seem to really be noticing the noise of a pistol, and certainly not feeling the impacts.
I can get its attention.
So, let's see. It has not noticed you approaching yet. Do you glow brightly when you're using your powers, or do you just fly?
He does glow brightly. And of course, his flight is at 8, so if he's flying full speed, he's also going to make a sonic boom.
Would he be making a sonic boom above town like this, though?
He would not want to do that above town. He's already notorious. He's not Land Shark, but he is notorious for clipping buildings when he's flying through downtown. But he might make a sonic boom. Well, any sonic boom, even at the beach, is going to cause problems in town. So he might not do that unless he just needed to get the creature's attention.
In a moment of desperation, he might. But...
Yeah, but I can hit it hard enough to get its attention.
Okay.
Without making a sonic boom.
This thing may have damage reduction 10 for all we know.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, you won't know till you get into it.
I may just be an annoying gnat buzzing around its head.
Then you must do what gnats do and fly into its eye.
Yeah. And get swatted.
You take 10 damage as it blinks on you really hard.
It's like, oh crap.
Something in my eye. Time out, guys. Time out. Something in my eye.
Tear.
Alright, I'm trying to think. Was there a rush action you could take? Alright, see. Standard action. That's that standard effects. Let's see, rescue, attacking, blocking, defending, escaping, rushing. Using sheer momentum to beat them down. To rush an opponent, you must be at close or greater distance. Be able to use your move to reach personal distance. Does damage equal to the higher of your strength +1 or your movement +1. Then it's a coordination, a prowess test against the target's coordination or prowess. I guess they get to pick which they defend with. And then it's got the list of... Okay. So yeah, the rushing action is definitely how you'd want to be attacking this thing.
Yeah, that sounds like definitely what I want to do.
Alright. So that will be your prowess versus its prowess or coordination. Let me look at the comment right quick. So your strength is a 3, but your flight is an 8, and you can use your movement instead. So
prowess is 5. I've got martial arts of 1.
Alright, so you'd be rolling a 6 plus versus his coordination is higher.
Wow, that was a sucky roll.
Well, let's see. His coordination is higher, but as a giant monster, he has basically minuses to his dodging. So he's really only rolling on that. Alright, so he missed by 1. So that is a moderate success. Alright, so you deal damage, and it was going to be your movement level plus 1 damage. So that's 9 damage. That's a substantial hit. 9 damage versus its resistance. Okay.
He's a one-trick pony, but he's got a good trick.
That does sound pretty good.
Alright, so you hit, dealing your damage, and may push your target. Test strength versus strength. And with a moderate or better success, move your target up to your normal move again. If the push test fails, you suffer half the damage of your rushing attack round down.
That's awesome.
Which for most people is a concern. So give me a strength roll. Alright, so you take half that damage. That does not get through your invulnerability.
Good job.
You know, you're like the unstoppable force hitting the immovable object. You just kind of hit.
Boom.
It kind of... The monster staggers slightly, and you kind of deflect off to one side.
All right, King Armadillo, it's on.
It does seem to be on. All 3 heads kind of turn to look at you. Let's see. Everybody else basically spends this round moving into the appropriate area. By this time, you were all close enough to see this attack happen.
I don't know. There's a magic trick that happened on the board, and I don't know what happened.
Well, you
Just
were.
move on past it.
I
We'll
had
just
put you.
move on. We'll
put
just
you down
move
there.
on. Sir. We'll just move on past it.
Your initiative was a 7. It was a 6, right?
Yes. Sorry, I had my character menu up blocking that specific section, so he said, moved all your character tokens. So I never put my token down and just pushed it out. And I went, alright, let me... And then I closed it and I saw it and I saw that I did have a token out and I went, ooh, and just drug it on top. Sorry about that.
Where did I... Oh, crap. Hang on just a second, I gotta go grab some. I left it in the other room.
How do we want to approach this thing? I guess we should try to... It seems like we should try to knock it back into the sea, right?
So we slather one neck with barbecue sauce. And blind the other 2 heads.
Because Dawn of the Daikaiju has an interesting little system for cities taking damage.
Ooh.
Ooh.
How many hit points does Miami have?
Each area has a damage tracker. And, certain events can happen as things take enough damage. And for any of you interested, this is the cover art for the book.
Oh, yeah. Huh. Is there any possible chance that Serpent Boy does have one point in the cult, and that was just to represent the fact that he may be at least passively familiar with the Titans of Legend, given that he's technically one of them. May I make a roll to see if I know what this creature is?
You may do so. I warn you, it's unlikely.
Sure.
That somebody with one is gonna get that, but maybe use a smart boy. I don't know.
I'm not. I generated an 8 total.
Oh, decent.
Yeah, that is actually decent.
Yeah, that was a good roll.
Oh.
So you beat it by 1. The multiple heads throws you off. Otherwise, it kind of makes you think of the biblical Leviathan. You haven't researched it closely, but it came up because the Leviathan in a variety of forms existed in several Near Eastern cultures in that time period. It was Leviathan to the Hebrews. It was Lotan to maybe the Phoenicians, I forget. Tiamat to the Sumerians. And each of them had their god, tame it or defeat it or run it off. And similarities have been drawn between it and Zeus defeating Typhon or Typhoon. Mm-hmm. And Thor being destined to kill the Midgard serpent, whose actual name I'm not going to try to pronounce.
Jormungandr.
Thank you. So really, you were studying your family.
Sure.
And ran into some articles on comparative mythologies that broke down all these other stuff. But some of the artwork for Leviathan from back in the day depicted it having something of a shell. Like I said, the multiple heads is throwing you off a little bit, but
probably not direct relative. I'm guessing.
But some of those creatures were depicted as kind of dragon turtle type things. So. All right. Oh yes, numbers. There we go. District damage tracker. Let's see. So there's. Alright, so it's spent 2 rounds since y'all have been looking at it. Undoubtedly a few rounds before that, so the damage tracker would currently be in. It's for the waterfront. We've got the outlaying district. Go commercial. And central, which is where y'all started. And everything not shaded in at all, it's just residential for purposes of what we're doing. I don't know how Miami's actually laid out. Alright, so that one's currently Currently at a 6. Alright, so as you arrive, let's see, there's been damage to the roadways. Some buildings are crushed. Vehicles are overturned. Small structures are leveled with a lot of damage to the larger structures. You clearly see some injured people running around. You don't see any bodies yet, but from what the Comet would have seen on his phone, the creature appeared and crossed over Miami Beach here. Right close to, I think that's a golf course there.
So nothing of value.
Well, nothing that it did massive property damage. I mean, the ground's torn up, the roads are damaged, people fled out of the way.
Monster footprints will just make a sand trap.
Yep. But it crossed over there and then back into the water in the bay. And this is this waterfront area here is really the first time it's run into a lot of buildings. Let's see. Best you can tell, it's coming in more or less a straight line. You kind of cut across Miami Beach at a slight diagonal, I guess. So it seems to be going in a straight line. It seems to have a path of its own. So we'll get back to the top of the order. Oops. Alright. So it is the Leviathan's turn. So she's noticed the comet. So the comet flew in, hit her, deflected to one side. You're kind of catching your balance, and presumably turning around to come back in.
Right.
When the head on that side kind of reaches out, and you know how a turtle will extend its neck out, like some of the big snappers. Even if you pick it up on the sides, it'll try to spin its head around and snap at you. Well, the neck's already plenty long, and then it just kind of extends out. Probably not quite half again its length, and just kind of a quick out and snap at you. So that is prowess versus prowess. Ooh, it rolled pretty good, but not good enough.
Sorry.
So yeah, you see those bony tooth plates come snapping down. You kind of barrel roll out of the way. And it sounds remarkably like teeth just snapping together.
And I did use my martial arts for my prowess defense while I was flying. I hope that fits you. I think I still would have succeeded.
It's hand-to-hand combat, so I guess it would still factor in. Or does martial arts just do... I think we had that conversation last time. I think martial arts works for attack and defense. On the other hand, you've also got an aerial combat, specific aerial combat feat that does defense when you're in the air. So I'm not sure that it would. But that would only reduce you to an 11, so it would still miss. Like I said, it sounds like teeth snapping together, but like somebody had done that through a megaphone right by your ear because you're right there close to where it's at. And then it is the comet's turn.
Okay, I am going to try the same trick again. Prowess attack. Pummeling into the body trying to drive it back out to sea, I guess,
Okay.
away from people.
Alright, give me a prowess roll then.
Not as good this time.
Yeah, but she rolled a 1, so. So that's a total of 6, so 10. 6. So beat by 4. Which makes it a major success. You hit, deal your damage, and may slam the target. If the slam fails, you suffer half the damage of your rushing attack. And for a slam, it rolls its strength versus... let's see, outcomes. That's what we need. Or maybe damage. Slamming. Alright, let's see. And we said you were doing 9 points of damage. So that does, so its damage reduction does not reduce that below 0.
Oh, we heard it, boys. Doesn't have 9 damage reduction. We can take it.
Alright, so potential slam, stamina damage on the target after resistance. Test the full damage level against the target's strength. So I need you to give me a d6 plus 9 roll versus its strength. And you need to beat a 16 because it rolled max.
Didn't happen.
Respectable, but no. So you take half damage, which we've already established is nothing for you.
Thing's real strong. Unsurprisingly.
Yes, I was about to say, it should not be as a shock to you, given that it's ginormous. Frost Giant, you can get to it this round. It is probably 5 times your size. 5 or 6 times your size. Zach, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
I'm an idiot. I had myself muted. I'm bouncing on my heels. Take Patience out of my pocket. Let her down. Stay safe. Stay safe. I'm gonna go have a blast. Woo! And I charge out.
Why? You talked about tearing your shirt off. Why do I picture you just yanking your shirt off and twirling it over your head? Woo! As you charge it.
Spring break.
Yes, that is precisely what Frost Giant just did after putting her down.
You run past some police officers. You're going, woo! They're like, another one? Because remember, this is not your hometown. They haven't seen you fight a dinosaur here. And how are you approaching Leviathan?
Extremely aggressively. Out obviously. So it's gonna see me, it's gonna hear me.
Well, one of the heads is still preoccupied with the comet kind of snapping.
Yeah.
The other two are like, huh? They look over and then down to see where you're at. All right, but what are you doing to it?
I'm going to attribute stunt this and try and stun him with my strength.
All right. So you're punching, but specifically going for a stunning effect.
Yeah.
Essentially, power stunning for the stun power. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think that's still going to be, in this case, prowess to make the attack roll. Here, let me mark the page for rushing, just so I don't lose it. Stunning. Alright. It says coordination versus coordination, but that's for like a shooting attack. You are essentially punching it. So prowess versus prowess. See, its prowess is a 5.
Oof.
Oof. Unfortunate.
Yes, that is somewhat unfortunate.
Wait, what's the -1 from?
Well, I take a penalty for my prowess and coordination whenever I'm giant.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay.
I believe that's versus smaller targets.
Oh,
I think that's something it specifically says.
Ooh,
Which I probably need to check for her as well. Let's see, growth. At levels 2 to 5, you have a -1 defense test. Defense and test to hide. So I don't think it affects your attacking. It's smaller targets, so it's easier for you to hit.
Ah, okay. Okay.
And for you, it's a -1. I think at her level, it's a -3. And I was minusing 2 earlier, so I got that wrong. So that does not come into it in this case. So
Okay, so that'd be an 8, but it doesn't really matter.
right. Oh, that's right. It would have subtracted from her. Wait, no, it'd be -3 from her roll. So that's a 7. So you make contact, but it still doesn't do anything because it's just a marginal.
His is an 8 because we take away his -1.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'll get on board with everybody else eventually. All right, so that is a successful strike, but just a.
So it is an our 8 against his 7. Once we do the additives correctly.
Yes, once we get everything done, and once we add all the minuses. All right, so that is a moderate success on a stunning, which stuns the. Let's see. Stun outcome, damage, stamina damage to the target after resistance. Test the full damage against these targets. All right, so what is your strength, Frost Giant?
Is 8 now.
All right, so roll me a d6 plus 8 versus its d6 plus its strength.
Oh.
All right, and there's no pluses or minuses that would factor into that. All right, so that's a tie, so there is no effect on the stun.
Is there any damage dealt from that hit?
No, it is just the stunning attack. Because he power stunned for stun. So it's like he was using the stun power. It's kind of how it works.
I thought by power stunning he would just add the effect.
I do not think so.
Okay.
Maneuvers.
Did I hear a baby a second ago?
Yeah. Myself muted. I'm holding her right now. She was displeased for a moment.
And she
Pat her
did
back
sound
a
like
little
a
bit.
You're going to keep up with these cat
Got kisses. I pissed her off.
Well, that's very much like a cat. I want affection when I want it, and how dare you touch me any other time? Alright, so that was Frost Giant. Serpent Boy.
All right, so I think what Serpent Boy wants to do is the creature fully on land, the Leviathan.
Yes, it has pulled itself fully up on shore.
Okay,
The tokens are not to scale.
gotcha. So, if I may, would I be able to like just whisper a message to Frost Giant while he's kind of like standing on his shoulder while he's engaging fisticuffs with the beast?
Yeah,
We should be mentally switchboarded.
Oh, that's right. We do that too.
Telepathy.
That's right. Cool. Well, in that case, I'm gonna tell. No, we need. Can you knock this thing back in the water? Maybe I could trip it and try to get it. Get it away from from the city.
It'll take some effort, but anything worth doing is worth some effort, and it's gonna be fun.
So what I'd like to do is dive. Let's see, kind of like get into the Biscayne Bay, like right there, like there-ish, and then maybe just stretch out to kind of. I just want to create a tripping hazard for the Leviathan.
Okay.
And hopefully someone would, whether it's Comet or
Now,
Giant. Mm-hmm.
we do have an issue of trying to trip something that's practically prone. Because only the front two legs are dragging it. The back end is snake slither. So, I'm not sure how you trip a snake.
And
Not saying impossible. I just don't know how it would be done.
Now, one thing he could do is wrap around one of the front legs on one side and kind of yank to throw it off balance so it starts to tilt and then Frost Giant.
Yeah.
Or the Comet for that matter.
There's ways to get it back. I'm just not sure if tripping it is physically possible.
Okay. Well, if nothing else, maybe I try to grapple it and try to anchor it so they can't get any further into the city.
All right.
If that's going to be a huge strain, I know it's going to be a huge strain on Serpent Boy.
I was about to say, are you going to try to, are we going to try to wrestle it, or are you going to put a condition on it to make it easier for other people to knock it back?
The latter.
All right.
The latter.
So roll me a prowess versus prowess, I suppose.
Okay.
Or if you
can grapple.
I hear the baby.
Baby.
Or if you can,
Hungry
any
baby.
way you can think to do it, and we'll roll the appropriate something. Because you said you were using your stretching power, so that's...
Yeah. Would I need to stunt that?
No, this is really just a maneuver to add a quality.
All right.
And you can roll the 6 for your stretching if you prefer.
Yeah, let me add another skill for that. I'll just call this stupid stretching tricks.
Unless it's basically hand-to-hand. So, prowess, yeah.
So I would just take the straight-up power rank of stretching, and may I go ahead and add that +1 for the power specialty?
Yes, that would work just fine.
All right, so it's basically no key attribute, but a +7. Here we go. And I've generated an 11.
It generated an 8 because it still has those minuses to. Though really, would its size be of a? Well, I guess because you're trying to wrap it around its leg, basically. So all right. So 8. So you beat it by 3.
That might be.
I believe that's going to be 2 free taps of it.
Okay. So let's see. Let's call this this quality. Let's see. Something along the lines of there's something afoot.
Something.
There's a serpent boy afoot.
Serpent boy afoot. Alright, and you can tap that one twice for 3.
Or anyone else.
Yeah, anybody. You were actually making it for other folks to use, so. Patience.
Me?
I'm gonna throw Serpent Boy in the bay back behind the creature. And yes, patience. That would be you, Tyler.
I think I'm going to do something foolish. I'm gonna see if I can read this thing's mind.
Okay, that will be willpower.
Yeah, it's my telepathy versus its willpower. And I can't just roll that, so let me make a roll just real quick.
We're all taken over by a supreme alien intelligence.
There you go.
Okay.
Not a great roll, but oh
Nope,
well.
nope. You were unable to get into its dim, extremely alien mind.
But it has a mind to get into, and that's what's important.
You do feel some kind of presence there. It's not like it's not a blank like a car or if it's any kind of physical just object.
Yeah.
Though you do not get any kind of feeling as far as like what level of intelligence you might be dealing with. Maybe
That it's tough enough to keep me out for now.
Yeah, so there's definitely resistance from you getting in there. Maybe the bony plate in its head's, foil wrapped or something, Alright, it is the creature's turn. The comet's been an annoyance, but Frost Giant is just right there at it. So one of the heads is going to snap down at Frost Giant. Rather than biting, though, it just sort of rears back and basically tries to like headbutt you with that big armored plate.
Just rude.
If it had arms, it's like it's trying to backhand you, basically. Little guy ran up and hit me. So that is going to be its prowess versus your prowess.
Ooh, just made it.
Oh, yes.
And all additives and minuses are appropriately attached.
It gets minuses to its defense, and its Frost Giant is smaller than it, so Frost Giant's not suffering the penalties.
Okay.
In this fight, Frost Giant will never take those penalties because he's always going to be smaller than this thing.
Yay!
Now, if he decides to take a swing at something else, should something else appear, then maybe. So yeah, you roll out of the way. It misses you. Its head plows into one of the neighboring buildings. The damage tracker goes up.
See, if you were Land Shark, you'd get blamed for that.
This is an X-Men game, I'd get blamed for it.
He's blue. Clearly he's a mutant. Well, he says he's a Norse Frost Giant. That's not realistic.
There's an issue of X-Men from a few years ago where Nightcrawler literally inks the kid out from under a pile of falling rubble, like just some masonry on the street, and they immediately start screaming, "He's gonna eat her!"
Well, he does look like the devil.
Poor Nightcrawler.
I mean, I was playing a monster. I'm playing in a Monster of the Week game where I'm playing the spooky. Well, I've got the thing where I can see the supernatural, see supernatural effects and stuff. So the guy playing the monstrous is basically like an incubus kind of guy. He can look normal, but when I looked at him with my eyes, I saw the outline of the devil around him and immediately screamed that it's the devil. And then when he started dominating somebody, I hit him with the big whammy, which is
sexy devil,
basically. But I was like, ooh, middle blast. First time I'd played with that player, too. Alright. So yeah, it's still moving around and grinding up cars and stuff under it. But you're only at a 7 right now. So at least the infrastructure is not compromised. Okay, that was its turn. That's right, it was attacking you. So now it's the comet.
He will make his charge again.
That was, we had said prowess, I think.
Yeah.
Alright, so you beat it by 2. That's a moderate. Which means he has to roll versus the slam. So you definitely struck him. You definitely did your damage to him. Give me a d6 plus 9 versus its strength.
Are you able to add in a... Ooh.
Terrible roll.
Alright, so it's not slammed. You would take half the damage, but your invulnerability is so high that that's not actually going to hurt you at all.
Not unless he swats me to the ground.
Don't give him ideals. I've realized a mistake in building this character. Building this kaiju. I should have definitely given it fast attack to represent the multiple heads being able to attack different targets.
Yeah, I was waiting for the other heads to attack.
Like, I cannot believe that I didn't think to do that. Oh well.
You could add it now. I mean,
Don't give him
not that
ideas, Curtis.
I know, not that I want to, but I mean,
No. We'll let it go. She's just woke up. She's not at her full. The next time she pops up. All right. So Frost Giant.
I think I'm just gonna take a straight swing at this thing this time.
All right.
That's a crap roll.
Yeah, but it's got a, let's see, prowess of 5, but minus. Well, let's see, it'd be -3 for most stuff, for something human size, basically. So I'm going to say that's just a -2 for you, because you're kind of in there, in the in-between stages.
Oh!
But yeah, that still puts it at a severe disadvantage to get out of the way. So you beat it by 4. So that's a major. But this is just a punch. And how much damage do you do?
8 damage.
Okay. So there's a potential for the slam. So give me a d6 plus your strength.
Roll a 1. Ah!
Let's see, 13. Yeah, I was gonna say you forgot to use
Yeah, no one's used the qualities yet, but neither time would it have worked out.
Yeah, that's true. Because hitting by or a major or a massive just triggers the slamming, so bumping that up wouldn't have mattered, and adding it to this roll would only make it a 15, so that still wouldn't matter. So you hit it. It rocks back slightly. Doesn't seem to be particularly hurt by the swing. But it's you and the comet are definitely keeping its attention kind of split between the two of you. 2 of the heads seem to be focusing on the comet though, so maybe he's hurting it a little bit more.
I'm at least making it angry.
I can't stop it from wrecking my city, but I'll at least stop it from having any fun while it wrecks my city. Serpent Boy.
yes. So, I'm wondering if I could, just for fun, I think I might try to,
Tickle its foot. It's a very ticklish monster.
yeah, I think I might try to, if I could just stretch my neck up and try to, yeah, I'm sure this won't do anything, but I need to. I feel like trying it anyway. Try to breathe a little bit of knockout gas, like right in its right up its nostril. That's it.
Okay.
If I can still extend myself that far.
Oh yeah. Let's see. How far is your stretching?
Enough to. I can move out a couple miles.
Oh yeah, definitely then.
Yeah. So this is an affliction roll. I have it at. Well, I do have it as a burst, but the limit. But also, I may burn it out. That's the limit to balance the burst effect. So
Okay.
I'll see if I can at least generate enough for it to have a chance. So it's basically, let's see, I make a prowess test to touch the target, then an affliction test against either its strength or regeneration. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here.
Could have a rough time on that one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because strength is also kind of your constitution.
Right. So let's see. Yeah, I guess it's just roll the prowess to detect this. Oh yeah, this isn't happening. This is probably going to be a non-starter.
Okay, but it's you had to roll what to
a prowess to be able to. Basically, you have to touch your target. That's how affliction typically works. Now, I don't know how that balances with an extra burst.
Well, it just means you got to be really close to them when you got to be within touching range. When you breathe on them, the dice rolling's all the same. All right, so that's versus her prowess. However, their prowess is kind of crappy compared to yours, or against you because you're a normal sized person. However, that's a tie, so with affliction, no effect.
Okay, and let me.
Oh wait. Let me see. Yeah, because on a to hit, it always goes to the defender if there's a tie. So.
Okay, now I'll just make the burnout check. So I'll just roll on 1 or 2. That means I've burned it out.
Anything else is still good to go.
Okay,
right.
I've still
got. You've still got some of that gas packed away.
Otherwise, I'll just maintain I'll just keep myself stretched out around near its. I guess it's lower torso to maintain the.
To try to keep it off balance or whatever.
Yeah.
Patience.
Patience will check with Frost Giant real quick. Does that thing seem like it can hurt you bad?
Oh yeah, this thing could probably snap me in half with one real good bite.
Patience has now put a force field on Frost Giant.
How many force shields can she generate?
She can only generate one at a time. It is the moment I do other stuff, I stop focusing. But all my force fields have a duration.
Okay. So you stopped focusing on the comments, and now he's got it for 4 rounds.
Yeah. Well, when I started reading, the turn I started reading mine was when it was doing the countdown for his. Okay. He's gone 2 turns so far. He's got 2 more turns with it.
All right, comments force shield, 2 more.
So that gives
now
me...
Frost Giant has a force shield that will start the countdown the next time I take an action.
And with the comet bouncing off the Leviathan, she probably might decide it'd be reasonable to say maybe Frost Giant needs it more anyway.
Well, that was the whole this dude doesn't seem to be getting hurt at all. Will you get hurt? Oh, it'll kill me. Oh, I need to help you.
Reallotment of resources. There we go.
You seemed really excited about this, so I thought you were good. Oh, you're not.
But he's still good.
It's exciting.
I could die. This is the best day of my life.
It's like he's begging it to strike the blow that will send him to Valhalla.
Give those easier bastards what's finally coming to them.
Except if you've already had Ragnarok, Valhalla may be empty.
Aww.
Alright.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. So then we're up to the top of the order with Leviathan, who is going to try to swat the comet out of the air. So that's its prowess versus your prowess. Alright, you dodge out of the way. So that head just kind of, it's like one head tries to, kind of snaps at you like it's trying to distract you, while the other one tries to just kind of swat straight down at you. But you manage to kind of weave past the snapping head and then kind of roll, barrel roll over the one that was coming down on you.
Actually, Roll20 just absolutely hates me.
Whatever do you mean?
Yeah. My games of 1s and 2s.
You rolled a 3 that time.
Yeah. Yay.
Alright. So next up is the comet.
I shall pummel once again.
We're just going to keep throwing fists until there is a difference made.
That's right. Well, and I mean, I'm slowly doing something.
Yeah, you're doing damage, but we have no idea how much health it has.
Oh, that's also another
Well,
round, so the damage tracker moves up again.
He used the old deities and demigods handbook from Dungeons and Dragons for Leviathan. Probably has 400 stamina, like, Tiamat.
I've got the pamphlet version of that around here somewhere. It's not the original printing that they got sued for, but it's like the next one they did. So it doesn't have the, the token stuff or the Moorcock stuff in it. May have still had some of the Conan stuff, though. I can't remember. Alright, so you definitely... Oh, yeah, you definitely hit, so... So that's a major success on the rushing. Or a massive success. You hit, dealing your damage.
Take that, Queen Gamera.
Now I've got the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Gamera song stuck in my head.
Sorry.
It's okay. It gets stuck in my head periodically ever since I've watched that show. Alright, so you hit, you deal damage, you may stun the target. So
sure.
A stun... Let's see, that's listed under the damage types. So stunning is... full damage level versus the target's strength. So that's 9 plus a d6 for you. Her strength is a 10, so that's a 10 plus a d6. 13 is the number you need to beat. So you beat it by 2, so it's a moderate success.
Boom.
So it is stunned for a round, or excuse me, stunned for a page.
Alright, I am back.
Which is a round. Alright. And I think stun just means it can't take actions. So it can still attempt to... It still makes its defense rolls, but it can't take any intentional action on its own. Alright, so that was the Comet. Frost Giant, you're up. So good timing. You think the Comet has managed to stun the creature?
I'm going to try and shove it backwards into the bag.
Okay.
I'm going to tap... Good stretching trick, or
Serpent Boy.
Well,
there is a Serpent Boy afoot.
Yeah, there's a Serpent Boy afoot. I'm going to tap that.
All right,
Be
so
a +2 to this shove.
Now, are you going to give the +2 to the... Basically the to hit roll or the effect?
Go with the effect.
Let's see.
So it can't really get out of the way. parry.
Okay. Grab something out of it. Just checking to see. I thought there was like something specifically for maneuvering people. Yeah, we will treat it. We will treat it like a slam, basically, because that is essentially what you'd be doing. But it's going to be prowess versus prowess for the initial. Can you do anything to it? Do you make contact? And you said this was the one you were using the +2 for.
Yeah.
All right. 7's the number to beat. All right, so you got an 8. Now, is that an 8 with the +2, or do we need to add 2 to the 8?
Add +2 to that. It'll be a 10.
8. So a 10, all right. So 7. So you beat it by 3. So that is a major. All right, so a damage type slam. Slamming, so it needs to roll. So it's going to be your strength versus its strength. Since you got a major on the previous roll, I'm going to give you a +2 on that. Since that first roll isn't really having a direct effect otherwise. That makes the margin you beat it by an actual factor. So
6 plus 10 effectively.
Versus its strength.
Beat it.
Alright, so a moderate. Let's see. Slamming, moderate, knocks the target prone. Getting back up is the target's move action for the next panel. So you didn't get it all the way back in the water, but you knocked it down. Which means effectively it stunned this round, so it doesn't get to take its next action, and its action after that has to be spent standing up. So you've basically got 2 rounds where it won't be retaliating on you. So you basically slammed into it, it didn't make it into the water, but it kind of rolls over on its back. You see one of those big eyes in his head kind of rolling around, all disoriented. Serpent Boy.
Let's see. I think I need to stay. I'm guessing I need to stay at his feet just to maintain the quality. Yeah, you can't access the quality if Serpent Boy's not actually afoot.
Well, you've got multiple limbs. You could be wrapping your lower body could have zipped out and wrapped around it, or just one of your arms, or like you did earlier, you stretched your neck up to breathe on it.
Yeah, because I'm thinking I might want to try to let's see, since it's not, it's still on the surface. It's not in the water yet. I wonder if I might try to kind of like wrap part of me around like it's a limb, and then try to reach for like something to hang on to. Just, I know this can't be. I know I'm not anywhere close to as strong as Leviathan.
What you're talking about there sounds like a wrestling attempt.
Yeah. But until I can think of something better to do, I might just give that a try.
Okay.
So I guess this will be a grapple, which is a prowess thing.
Yep, prowess. If you have wrestling, add that.
No, I do not. And I'm not in water yet, so I can't get the bonus for. I'll get a bonus for if I were underwater, since I'm all aquatic and stuff. So let me just. I guess I'll just roll this as a physical
you are
attack.
somewhat in the water. How under the water do you have to be for the aquatic to kick in?
I would imagine I'd have to be fully submerged. Which I am not. Right? Or am I? I don't know.
Let's see.
Well, I think even if I am fully submerged, it's not. So I don't. I guess that'll be a judgment call for you.
Find aquatic. All right. You get a. You can breathe in the water. Your coordination and awareness while submerged equal the higher of their normal levels +1. Or this power level, whichever's higher. Gotcha. You swim at a speed based on half your power level. As an extra, your prowess and strength also increase, but that's an extra you'd have to take.
I see.
So right now it's your coordination and awareness.
Okay. So I'll just roll my normal prowess. Let's just see what happens. Oh, that's so great.
So yeah, you're having a hard time trying to wrestle this thing.
Sure. All right. Well, that'll keep me busy for a round. Fumbling at that.
Patience.
Nobody's hurt.
Oddly, no.
And it's
It's amazing, actually.
and no one's calling for help. No one's hurt.
Things are going remarkably well, all things
Going
considered.
to try to read its mind again.
All right, give me a roll.
See if I can find whatever is influencing it.
All right, you can get its surface thoughts.
All right.
That feeling is going to. The other side of me wishes it wouldn't.
So what's it thinking about?
Somebody's TV.
It does. Sound
Yeah. 1 second.
Okay. So yes, you're in its head. It's disoriented, trying to figure out how it got on its back.
Is the pattern kind of like similar to when humans are thinking about stuff?
No, it's not thinking
Or is
in
it-
words. It's emotions. There's irritation. There's some emotion. It's not quite like human emotion, but it's irritated. It seems to be irritated about these creatures in its way. It thinks about eating most of you, but discards the idea because you're so small. The blue thing is big enough to actually be worth eating, but but that's not its priority. Apparently, it is fed recently. Something from inside, something further inland is calling it.
I will attempt to communicate and ask, what it's trying to do, and see if there's a response from it.
When you put these thoughts or words in its head, the heads kind of spaz around like they're trying to find where you're coming from, and you get this memory. It's an image, because Patience had her sight at one point, right?
Yes, she does. She does know what things can look like, what looking is and what colors are.
Okay.
Because that's how she still identifies souls, is they have a color to them, and she remembers colors. So.
And the vague outline, so she recognizes a person versus a dog or something. Okay.
Yeah.
This thing does not. Its eyes don't see exactly like human eyes, of course. So the image is weird compared to what Patience was used to when she was littler. But it's on a beach. There's another huge creature off to one side. And there's a human guy, kind of bronzed skin, like he's been out in the sun a lot. A beard that hangs down in ringlets. Wielding a staff and screaming words at it. Words it didn't understand at the time. It doesn't seem to understand what you're saying. But
I don't understand whatever language it is.
No, you do not understand whatever language this guy is speaking. But when he was screaming, it could kind of hear him talking, but it also had the words directly in its head. So basically, you're triggering this flashback to the last time he's had some kind of she had some kind of mental intrusion. And there's maybe not fear, but there's some trepidation there. Because it knows the last time this happened, something drove it into a deep sleep. And that's kind of what you get for it, man, just to kind of shrug you out.
I'll refer to the team. It's trying to go somewhere mainland, and it's. I don't think anything's affecting its mind right now, but it has memories of being mentally affected before.
Oh, also in that image, while this was going on, it had been sunlight. It's like things suddenly go dark, like there's an eclipse or something. But you don't actually see the sun to know what's going on.
Wait, like there's been an eclipse in real world? Not in the memory?
In the memory that you see, that guy starts screaming and talking into its head, and everything was bright and shiny, and then everything gets dark quick. Not like a sunset, but it just got dark quick. And then it feels something calling it from further inland that it's heading towards.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's feeling it's feeling a little pain from where it's been taking these hits, but it's not.
Not particularly worried.
Not super worried. It's if it could just get its jaws on something. And then
that's not encouraging.
All right, then we are to the top of the order, and this is the round that it is stunned. So it just lays there kind of flailing around. The tail. It's like the tail and heads are moving to try to get it right side up, but they're not actually working together. It's not coordinating well. The comet.
Okay. I've been trying to avoid. I've got low-level fast attack, and I've been trying to avoid it because I don't want to miss and crash to the ground. It doesn't sound like we're hurting it, but not bad. So maybe I will.
Oh yes, the damage tracker went up when it fell over. All right, so that's a 7 to hit it. Its coordination minus the 3. All right, so you hit it. So you do your damage to it. Let's see, the force shield goes down by 1. Alright, and that is a major success. On your rushing. So you hit, you deal damage. You may slam the target. If the slam fails, you suffer half. Yada, yada, yada. Alright, so give me the d6 plus 9 versus its strength. Alright, so that's on the... Let's see. And the slam. You have successfully slammed it. Congratulations. And you got a 12, 14, so that's a moderate success. So let's say knock the target prone. Target's already prone. So we're going to say you have knocked it fully out into the water.
At least we're
basically
getting it back in the water.
Frost Giant, man, Comet stunned it. Frost Giant knocked it prone. And then when the Comet hits it, it basically slides along that shell, rotating slightly as it does, back off the waterfront into the water.
Again, Super Mario came in useful.
But that also means the damage tracker in this part of town will not go up until it manages to get up and get back into town.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
Which will only take one round of movement because you just knocked it, fully into the water, but not like off some distance into the water. But there's a huge splash. I'm going to assume Serpent Boy kind of slides back with it since he's tangled up with it. But he's aquatic, so that's not like being in the water bothers him.
Mm-hmm.
Frost Giant. It is in the water, but it's still shallow enough you could wade out there without any trouble.
I would actually like to power stunt my ice breath, bind this thing into the shallow. Basically
No, that's an issue.
chasing it and using the water around it.
Alright, so what are you tapping to power stunt?
Ancient blood in my vein.
Okay. And this will cost you one of your determinations. And let's see, it was binding. Which I'm pretty sure I remember how binding works as we used it quite a bit.
I'd hope to God. It's not going to keep it for long because it's not going to be that strong and that thing's got 10 strength, but
yeah,
it's still going to keep it down for a round. If I can get a full hold on it.
Alright, so it is coordination versus coordination. We did at a -2 for you. And you beat it by 6, so that's
Woo!
that's what we call a massive success in the business. Puts the target into a complete hold. The target is fully restrained and cannot take any physical actions except to escape. Now let's see. And escaping is usually, I think, a coordination sort of thing, but let me check.
I think it's
prowess or strength. You have the choice against the attacker's strength, or in this case, the strength of your breath. What rank is your breath at?
It would be 5. So yeah, this thing could just switch itself and it'd be free.
But it takes a round to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So y'all are continuing to pink away at it while preventing it from doing anything.
Teamwork.
It makes the dream work. Alright, so Serpent Boy. Nobody has tapped that the Serpent Boy a foot, but it's already been knocked on its back and slid into the water, so I'm going to say that quality is probably gone at this point.
Fair enough.
And
Let
you
me see
might
if
very
I-
well have let go of it when everything started freezing up around it.
Right, right. Let me see if I can create another helpful quality. I'd like to try to pull a Stranger Things move, and let me know if if you'll allow this. If I could somehow tap into my extensive knowledge of Dungeons and Dragons lore, not necessarily to know anything directly about the creature, but maybe it could, like what I know from my gaming experience, might inspire me to think of something useful for that would actually help in this fight. Is that something I can make a roll for as a maneuver? Like an intellect plus my art in gaming specialty.
Let's see, what kind of gaming stuff would prove useful? I mean, yes, you can absolutely try to use the maneuver to put a quality on it using your intelligence and your gaming.
Yeah, and I'd be thinking something along the lines of I would name that quality something like, "Wait, I read this in the monster manual," or or this happened in something along those lines. Or again, not that I know anything specifically about this creature, but just from the lore, from the many written pages dealing with fights with massive creatures, kind of like how they do on the Stranger Things show.
All right, give me your intelligence and art then.
Okay.
Need to be to 6.
Yes, it's only okay. Let's see. I'll make this a D&D lore roll. So I only have let's see. So I've got an intellect of 3, and then my art is at 3. So here we go. Nope.
Well, you beat the 6, so you beat it by 1, so that's going to give 1 free tapping.
Okay. So the quality will be called. Wait, I read this in the monster manual.
Alright, so wait, I read this in the monster manual. You have 1 free tapping of that. And it's basically going to be you suggesting tactics they can use.
Yeah.
And then it's his patience.
So, I'm gonna go ahead and try to pop into its brain again. But this time, I'm gonna tap the quality "Don't Leave Me Alone."
Okay. They have kind of left you alone.
Well, I'm tapping the quality of like "Don't leave me alone," as in like I have a shared experience with this thing of like being solo and someone coming up and just like committing a problem. I'm just like trying to share the memory of me being attacked as well with it, to kind of get like a common mental point where we're like, hey, like trying to show it that like what it's doing to these creatures is kind of what happened, is similar to what's happened to it, to see if we can get like it to take a safer path and not just march through hurting people.
Okay, give me a telepathy roll. Let's see what willpower is.
Boom.
Alright, you want to get into its head. Now
Yeah,
give me a willpower versus its willpower, but without its mental resistance. Oh, you trying to be convincing, basically, to it. It didn't roll too well.
We have the same base, so just like trying to find a safer path. Or if it's
you think it may misinterpret safer path as being safer for it? Because it's like it recognizes you as a fellow entity. But all these little things running around it, with the exception of Frost Giant because of his size, it's giving humans as much thought as we would give insects.
But finding a path to not get bitten by a whole lot of insects is...
The comet is thinking about like we think about a wasp. Oh, it's a little bug. Hell, that thing stings. So you have it reconsidering the path it was taking. Yeah. How much good that'll really do long term, you don't know. But you've definitely got it considering somewhere else to go. Alright. And then it is its turn. It will try to escape. Zach, give me a d6 plus the 5 for your binding versus its strength.
Nope, that's not going to make it.
And it is aquatic. So it being in the water will help it. Let's see. So its strength is a 10. Oh, wait, but that's right. I tweaked its aquatic. So its aquatic does not jack up the strength. But the coordination goes up. And the prowess, because I replaced the strength with the prowess. Okay. So it's still just the D10 plus 10 to break loose. So that got a 8. So beat it by 3. Escaping, which would be a major. Yes, it escapes a complete hold. So yeah, so it spends their action just basically flexing, and the ice breaks apart. Some of it goes flying, some of it's just floating away. It is still basically on its back, and will have to spend next round riding itself. Comet.
Well, it looks like I am going to continue my stinging.
Bzzzt.
Okay, we've got to find a way to do better than that.
Alright, that's versus its... oh, but it's in the water now, so its coordination is higher.
What about its prowess?
Oops.
Well, either one of them, whatever. Alright, not a ton higher. It's not really going to make a whole lot of difference given the negatives it gets for its size. Alright, you definitely hit it. So that's going to be a major. Alright, so a major on the, or moderate, major. No, this is a massive, alright. You hit, deal damage, and may stun. Alright, so it takes the damage again. Then we roll the stun.
That's the 1d6 plus 9, right?
Correct. Versus its strength. That's right.
I think we could be here all day if we don't find what's calling it.
Alright, so that's a tie, so there is no stun this go round. Frost Giant.
Alright, so Frost Giant is going to I'm going to tap its prone quality
That's fair.
to give me a bonus to hit it. I'm going to run up to it, and I'm going to tap Ancient Blood in My Veins, or no, excuse me, One Hell of a Ride Hook to give me bonus to damage. And I'm going to punch it in the face.
So are you just running through the water, or do you run to like the edge of the docks and like spring off through the air at it and come down?
Yeah, just springing through the air at it.
All right. When you have the opportunity to go pro wrestler, always go pro wrestler.
Exactly.
All right.
That'd be a +1 or a +2 to my prowess.
Be a +2 to the prowess for the prone that you're tapping. Let's see, its prowess is currently 6 -2 because you're smaller than it. So that's a tie. You just get a glancing blow as you come down.
No, it's not counting the. That'd be a 12.
Oh, you're right because you have that. You're tapping that other. All right, so that hits. That's a moderate. So you do your damage.
And so, doing One Hell of a Ride Hook, that'd be 10 damage.
That's right, because you're boosting the. Let's see. Was the effect +2 or +1?
It should be +2.
For damage, it's just I believe it's just a +1.
Okay, so that's still not.
That was the thing I found out and got real deflated about.
Yeah, 'cause we were doing it wrong like the entire first season.
Yep.
I'll live. That's still a solid 9 points of damage.
Yes. You can tell.
Right.
You can tell you heard it this time. In fact, that may be at the level that it triggers something.
Ooh. There's no level.
Serpent Boy.
All right. So there's chunks of ice all about the bay right now. Before it melts, I want to see if I can maybe use my body to slingshot a chunk at the Leviathan.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Basically, turn myself into a giant sling.
Let's see. Actions. I think throwing is covered under something. Alright, you have 2 levels of strength above the level required. Lift the object. You can. Alright, so it would be a coordination versus coordination, like a blasting attack.
Okay.
If the object is blunt, or a shooting attack if it's sharp and pointy.
Am I sufficiently underwater that I can give myself a +1?
Yes, I will let you do that.
All right.
Let's see. Doing damage equal to strength used to throw it.
Doing stuff underwater. Getting very, very specific with my role creations here. All right.
So let me roll its coordination.
Oops. Not a great total here. Looks like I'm gonna just about miss.
All right. So yeah, that would be a tie is considered a marginal success, which in combat doesn't really do anything. So yeah, the chunk of ice, it hits on the kind of the shell and rolls across. Makes physical contact. It didn't really come down in a good strike. Patience.
Has it become a willing conversation partner yet? Mentally?
It's not. It doesn't seem to be really trying to push you out. It's hurting bad enough now that that it's thinking of escape routes. You put the ideal of a safer route in its mind, so it was already thinking about leaving. So yeah, it's not really trying to push you out.
Okay, so switchboarding that, let the team know that it wants to leave now. It does not want to continue fighting. Is there a way to give it a safer route? Is there a way to communicate a way to travel towards its destination?
That would be inland through the city. You've got it's only got an idea of what direction it needs to go, not like how far inland it is. Plus, I'm going to assume Patience is not super familiar with Miami.
No, but we do have someone that
currently looking at a map.
Yeah, but we do have someone that can fly. So, like, I'm switchboarding it to the team. You know, is there some way we can give assistance to this thing?
Now, if it's willing to go a long ways out of its way, maybe the comet could, the interstate. Just call ahead, clear, and tell them to clear the way for the giant three-headed monster.
And also, like, something is calling it, so there's going to be a problem wherever this thing is going.
Yeah.
Like, there's something else there. But I don't think a 6-year-old child would really, like, go in super depth of, like, the potential possibilities of what it could be. It's just, there's got to be something there it's trying to get to.
And in its head, you can feel that calling. It's just a quiet, kind of insistent. It needs to go there.
So something's trying to get Big Monster to go a place.
And then we are at the top of the order.
So we're just gonna let it. We're gonna follow it.
That's up to all of you.
And we could follow it and just try to nudge it if it's about to step on something. So maybe just
like fine. If there's a section of open beach that does not have buildings, if there's a section of
in Miami, good luck. But that's a fair point, though. We should definitely look for.
I mean, it's a big creature. It's not going to take long for it to get out of the city.
True. Presumably.
All right, so it takes off at speeds equivalent to car speeds. It's off at 60, 70 miles an hour, which underwater is fairly impressive speed. Basically, it seems to head south, and if none of you interfere with it, it sticks to the water. It goes up under the roads here, the bridges. Between the kind of Miami Beach and what was that? Fisher Island, Dodge Island, something like that. Oh, well, there's a Dodge Island and a Fisher Island. Okay.
Would it be possible for Serpent Boy to hitch a ride on it?
How fast is Serpent Boy in the water? What is his ranks of aquatic?
I think it's 4 or 6. It's 4, so I think I only move at half that speed. So I'm not that.
Right.
I think I'm as fast as a dolphin, so maybe not fast enough.
Yeah. So you're not fast enough to follow him. Yes, with your stretching, you could easily reach out and snag. Snag one of those back limbs that kind of fold out.
I could basically water ski behind it.
Sort of. The back limbs do not do any of the propulsion. That's the big crocodilian fluke's tail. It's kind of like they kind of make you think of seal feet, sort of, except not put together. They're each on each side. But it's using them like paddles, almost like a plesiosaur or a mosasaur would do. They're more for steering. Where the front limbs kind of fall back by it's like it's essentially holding its arms at its side while it's swimming.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you follow it out into the deeper ocean. And it will essentially head out to wherever the continental shelf drops. Goes down kind of deep to the floor, ocean floor there. and then kind of nestles into the ground.
Oh.
You know, it's like it doesn't dig down or burrow deep, but it kind of wallers out a little area and then just kind of lays there.
Okay.
The head pulls not all the way in like some turtles can do, but the necks do retract to some degree and kind of fold up. It's by no means invisible, but after it's laid there and all the sand it's kicked up settles, it blends in pretty well with the bottom.
Well, what I can do is once it's settled in, I can stretch my way back to the surface of the water and just basically be like a buoy, act as a living buoy to note where the creature currently is. Assuming everyone else is following as well.
Well, most of the team probably couldn't.
Yeah.
The comic could zip out there.
Who we haven't actually fully formally introduced ourselves to yet.
Well, things were kind of you were kind of busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be cute was not very cute.
So yes, if y'all wanted to keep it where it's at, the comet could easily fly out and find you. You're still got the telepathic link thing with Patience, which I think would be you have to talk to her, and then she has to spread it out to everybody else. I think, or does the telepathy have a? No, the telepathy had a. Was it
the switchboarding thing with it is kind of up to GM's discretion.
Okay. I would say for somebody that you're very familiar with, like your team, basically, you've got some pretty decent distance on it. So it's already been established, but
yeah, it just says at the GM's option, you can link up a number of minds equal to your power level in a mental switchboard to communicate.
Okay, and your power level was
5 for telepathy.
And so you've currently got a team of 4 plus the monster. So
all the ones that are hooked up, I'm hooked up to max right now.
and the creature starts dreaming fairly quickly, and you kind of start to lose the connection at that point.
It's napping before it chooses a new way to get where it's going.
It has been injured. It has suffered a notable amount of injury. Nothing that's life-threatening to it, but it needs to rest. It is dreaming. Well, it's fighting you guys in its dreams.
That's unfortunate.
But you guys are not doing what you did this time exactly. It's kind of like when you run. They've run mice through mazes while monitoring their brain activity, and when they sleep, a lot of those same areas flare up, basically showing that it's running that maze in its sleep.
Hmm.
Well, if they changed the maze, it would change accordingly. When they would run it through multiple mazes, suddenly it would start creating its own mazes in its dreams.
Because it would kind of slapshod multiple ones together.
Right. It's like it started thinking about what it could potentially run into. Or that's the best they were kind of able to. It's like it would take bits and pieces of the different mazes and put them together or something. It was a big research thing on the dreams. I listen to NPR sometimes. Anyway. So yeah, the comet could fly out. You could you could fly out and pick up Serpent Boy and bring him back quickly. We've established that you have a cell phone, so you could pull up your GPS coordinates. Basically, all right, it's right here. We'll just put a pin on Google Maps right here, and we'll know where the monster is for right now.
So what now, guys?
Could we figure out a trajectory based on where it was heading when we encountered it to see maybe where it's heading and see what might be in that line of movement to try to figure out what it could have been heading for?
We could give Patience a roll to figure something like that out. It would be intelligence. Intelligence for sure. I doubt she's going to have a skill to factor in there, but let me look at her sheet.
She will not have a specialty to
Oh
factor
no,
in there.
she does not have a specialty that factors into anything.
She is a child. She has not had the lifetime experience to gain specialties.
Fair enough. So that will be intelligence.
Great.
Let's see. Do you have anything you could tap?
I mean, like, I do actively know what the pull was pulling towards. Like, I felt the pull as well, so I could give a general, like, that way.
Oh yeah. The general direction you could definitely get. Go ahead and give me the intelligence roll. Let me roll a dice for your difficulty.
Nope.
I mean, you can to give them the direction it was going.
Yeah,
but
it's
as far
like
as any idea of how far it is.
yeah, from where its path was generated from, it's in a that way direction. You know, so I could cut out like it's. You know, I could point and you guys go, okay, that's northwest-ish. West-ish. Oh, that's southwest-ish.
Yeah, it was definitely going southwest. Because, you know, it had cut across... You know, it had cut across Miami Beach here. Kind of diagonally across to here. So, you know, you could take what was going on that line there. And, you know, pulling up a map on a phone or an actual physical map, you could start, you know...
Drawing a line.
Drawing a line further and further out to where it might have been.
So, it's looking like while this thing is down for a nap, we probably need to hustle our way in that direction and see if we can't find find whatever was drawing that thing. Whether it was a person, a device, whatever.
Alright, so y'all start hustling that direction. As you're doing this, police and emergency workers are showing up. The media shows up. All the local stations are wanting to, you know, interview. You know, the police are, you know, walking up and shaking your hands and stuff. Because while you know this area is taking significant damage, it was way lighter than it would have been if that thing had been allowed to keep going. And, you know, given the nature of what just happened, everybody seems to be pretty impressed with how well y'all kept the property damage down. You know, the bulk of the damage it had done before you showed up anyway. So,
guess Frostshrine's just going to pass on what they know about where it was headed, just that general direction. And the thing is still out there, and it's settled down a miles out to sea. So.
Yeah, the cops pull up a map and are looking at where it could have been hidden. I mean, I guess, let's see, do you hit the... I mean, that would eventually cross the Everglades, you know, that line going down that way, I think would eventually cross the Everglades or one of the other nature preserve kind of areas they've got, which is actually a decent chunk of the southern part of Florida.
I was going there, I think it would have swam farther down south instead of getting on land as early as it did. Unless it's like right on the edge of...
Don't know.
Alright, if it came out of the... Yeah, I got the angle pretty right. If it had crossed through there. Okay. I was something on a bigger map. Alright, so... as you were doing this, and like I said, all of you get the chance to be interviewed. Does Patience hang around with the super folk? Does she kind of avoid the press? Or would she even think about it?
Nah, she would just wait for Frost Giant to come pick her back up.
Okay.
Or Serpent Boy, you know. Either one. Frankly, at this point, she's seen the colors. She sees Comet's colors and probably trusts him enough for him to get her to a place safely.
Okay. Because whatever colors, you know, kind of the heroic, more selfless folk.
Yeah.
You know, he likely has
there's
his flaws, but
there's always the color. You know, typically in heroes, there's always the color of like violence, but that's just because you fight people that do bad things. It tends to start flaring up.
True.
But, you know, it's something to kind of avoid. But Frost Giant's way more violent. He's nice.
she's
You know, he
she's
doesn't have-
slowly learning the ideal of appropriate violence.
Well, like, she understands, like, on the odd combinations of colors, it's like, there's violent but good. There's, like, you know, and there's violent but bad. And the bad violence is, you know, violence combined with these other colors means they commit violence in kind of this specific way.
So she's still
You know,
kind of
she-
figuring out the language of these colors, as it were.
Yeah,
She's got
she
the
gets
very
the general of
basics.
like, yeah, she gets a basis of like, this person's, you know, typically violent. This person is kind of a thief. This person is kind of a, you know.
But she hasn't quite figured out how all those colors, what that means when all those colors are mixed.
Yeah, but she just kind of goes off what's the biggest color on the person as kind of like the introduction. Like the drummer for the band, she's went, I'll stand next to the violent lady.
And she certainly has some violent tendencies. But anywho, so yes, the press. They don't pay. You know, they ask Patience, you know, if she's okay, if you know, if the event's going on with Scary. But you've got a few people that have already been posting videos they were taking with their phones, and of course, Patience was not in the thick of the violence.
Correct.
You know, she was like across the street when Frost Giant sets her down and then charges into combat. So most of the interviewing, they're trying to interview the Comet and Serpent Boy and Frost Giant. A couple of the reporters recognize the Comet because, you know, he's there in full, flat-out superhero regalia. And he is not necessarily a nationally known hero yet, but if you cover the superhero beat at all, you know, you'd be passingly familiar with him.
Yeah, his grandfather or whatever would be.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the whole legacy thing. So, yeah. Based on that, people would know there was a new one of those flying around.
He's pretty low-key.
As far, you know, like I said, people have been already posting these videos online, so Frost Giant and Serpent Boy have already been identified from the dinosaur fighting escapade. And whatever other little things they may do periodically in their hometown. Do you guys talk about being Norse-based? You know, do you explain who and what you are to the press at any point, you know, now or in the past?
If anyone ever asks me if I'm a mutant or a powered person, no, I'm, you know, somewhere down the line, great grandma was a frost giant, that sort of stuff.
Yes, I liked how you put it in your character's write-up. The Frost Giant so-and-so and a very brave man. Though a lot of the Frost Giants, if you read the actual Norse myth, they seem to be able to control their size and shape-shift and do other weird stuff.
Yeah.
Which is probably where Loki gets it.
That sneaky Loki.
What now?
That sneaky Loki.
Yep. Well, you know, he's let's see. He would be Serpent Boy's...
Granddad.
Yeah, that'd be Serpent Boy's grandfather. The cousin may have been a little more distantly removed. She's descended from Fenris, but I don't remember if she was the actual child of, or just somewhere down the line.
Oh, okay. So she'd have more generations.
You know, she might. I forget exactly how you had it written up. So
yeah, and I don't think Norwood would know enough. He was never raised up with the concept of a secret identity, so you know he might.
He's a nerd.
Yeah, I was about to say he'd probably just be shy in general rather than specifically hiding.
But if those serpent-like features are always out, you know.
Oh yeah,
if he's that obvious all the time, yeah, he may not bother.
Yes.
So Frost Giant just flat out said, "Yeah, I'm a Frost Giant." But unlike Land Shark claiming to be a shark, he actually looks like one. So, what about Serpent Boy? Does he specifically mention the Midgard serpent, or does he just let him assume he's a mutant?
He won't. He won't correct anyone who thinks otherwise. Let's just put it that way. He's just kind of squeamish at the idea of, you know, he'd probably be squeamish about people he probably would be squeamish about people finding out he was, you know, the son of the Midgard serpent, because that's actually no, he totally would, because he knows they'll inevitably bring out, like, you know, a bunch of muscleheads who want like you know, who would enjoy the reputation of beating the crap out of
hitting you with a hammer.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, one of the this is a bit of a spoil, but one of the villains, I am planning on rating up a Norse-themed villain because I was assigned to come up with a nemesis for Frost Giants. So there is at least one very prominent champion of Asgard that, you know, Serpent or Boy would not want to meet anytime soon. So yeah, he'd keep that on the down low, on the low key. He'd be low key about that, as it were.
Okay. So he just kind of, you know, eyes down, just answers any direct questions, but doesn't, you know.
I mean, if someone asks if I'm a mutant, it's not really a lie, is it?
Well, you know, you're not quite like either of your parents, so yeah. Well, I say that you don't know what your father was. But.
That's true. Still a mystery.
But the Comet being in full costume and Frost Giant being much more boisterous in how he talks, they get the most attention from the.
Which was who we would just find.
You know, all of you get filmed, and you know they speak to all of you, but. And as that's starting to wrap up, a car comes whipping around the corner. The police flag it down real quick, and it comes to a quick stop. He gets out. Older fella gets out. Looks like he might be of Middle Eastern descent. You know, he's in a nice suit, got a tie, and all that jazz. It's a. He's driving a Lexus. You know, so it's a nice car. He scrambles out of the car in a bit of a hurry. And he starts yelling at the officers that I need to speak with him. I need to speak with him.
Oh.
Let's see, what did I name this guy? The police, the police stopping you. You see him presenting some ID to the police. They kind of look at each other, kind of shrug. You know, one of them walks him back to you. Hey guys, this professor here, Professor Dabashi, Dabashi. So I hope I'm not mangling that name. Omitted Dabashi. He really wants to talk. He really needs to talk to you about something.
yeah. Well, we can talk. We can talk.
Oh, yes. He steps up. He looks up at you. I'm assuming you've shrunk back down to the 7-foot size by this point. But,
Yeah.
and maybe put a shirt back on. Well, I don't know. You knew the media was coming, so. It is not really an Asgardian, or it's not really a Norse not modesty, but humility in the face of such triumph is not really a Norse thing. You don't want to show off all these guns.
Exactly. Put as much work into this body as he does. You're showing it off.
Especially after the big game.
You will at some point have to grow back to full size and then put the shirt on so it'll shrink back down. Right now, it's a huge shirt draping over a couple of cars where you threw it. The Hanes logo is very prominent. It's great advertising for him. Anyway, he tells you he is a professor of archaeology. Currently doing some work at one of the local universities. And he recognizes the creature you were fighting.
Queen Armadillo?
Well, no. Kind of. Armadillo?
I'd say the spot that the shell it had kind of looked like an armadillo shell, but not really.
Oh, I would have thought more like one of the leatherback turtles. Oh, I guess with the segments.
Yeah.
I guess it does have some of the same adaptations. He gotta shake his head.
Sorry, biology's not really my thing.
So you're saying that
I only have a passing knowledge of it myself.
You're saying that thing was something prehistoric.
Probably. It's from the earliest, our earliest recorded history before the Bronze Age collapse. There are references to it. All your Near Eastern cultures had some version of it. He goes, the biblical Leviathan might be what you're most familiar with. And then he kind of gives Frostgiant a look like, well, perhaps the Midgard serpent would be something more akin. That's not Near East, though, but we think that might be a variation of this same myth cycle.
Little buddy, if I punched your mom, I'm sorry.
The professor gives Serpent Boy a hard look. I mean, like not hard, like he's, but it's like he's kind of examining him kind of close. Huh.
What?
But the legends of the Midgard Serpent don't go back as far as Leviathan or Liviatan or Lotan or Tiamat. There's many names for this creature. I have found evidence of an attempt essentially during the Bronze Age collapse to try to eradicate record of this creature. Not just this creature, but also the biblical behemoth and Ziz. Or Ziz, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. There were three great beasts. One from the ocean. One was a master of the land. Leviathan was essentially the queen or ruler of the abyss, by which they meant the unfathomable depths of the ocean. That she represented kind of the untamed sea.
How many monsters did Patient see in?
She saw
It's
something
memory.
on the ground over kind of at the corner, like out of the corner of its eye, there was another creature. And then something blotted out the sun. But he didn't actually see what was doing
So-
that. You just saw the sun get blocked.
So where has this thing been for thousands of years?
I have found some writings of a great cabal of priests and magicians that supposedly bound these things, each in the name of their gods, or perhaps empowered by their gods. I've only found scraps and leavings, as there was an attempt to erase these things from the record. I mean, clearly the names survived. Every culture developed stories of their particular god, either taming or imprisoning or defeating them in some fashion.
Patience will raise her hand. She may not.
Yes, my dear.
Can I show you a picture it had?
He looks up at Frost Giant like, what is she talking? Yes, certainly.
And yeah, she'll try to connect, with his mind and show like how she can picture the memory of that and try to show him the images.
Oh.
And it said it went to sleep after that.
It spoke? Like in words, or was this an impression you got?
Feelings. I'm not good at explaining this. She just kind
A child wouldn't
She
be.
just kind of has. Well, no, that's the thing. She just kind of has a face like a feeling. I don't know how it works very well.
Huh.
I know how to connect to people, but it wasn't in English.
Yeah, the man there was dressed in a Babylonian style, which would factor in because it was one of their gods, Marduk, that defeated Tiamat. I wish the thing had gotten a better sight of the other one. Though it was on the ground, so it was likely Behemoth. And it was in what we've got left in the Book of Enoch and some Hebrew apocrypha. It speaks of Zaz as being a bird with a wingspan that could blot out the sun, or that could stand on the ground with his head in the sky. But why would it come here? It should have been asleep in the Mediterranean. Or perhaps the Persian Gulf. I'm not entirely certain where the myth came from. But anyway, they tried to eradicate the memory of it for fear that that knowledge of it could bring them back.
Hmm.
Did you get any impression of? He's talking to Patience again. Did you get any impression of why it was here? What had? I mean, did it just follow currents or
Something. What? And then she goes Frost Giant. Can I say this?
Go ahead.
Can I tell him?
And whatever you need to. It'll probably help us.
Something was calling it. Something was trying, not like a hunger to go somewhere. But it wasn't its hunger. Something was making it hungry to go somewhere.
Huh? What in the world would bring it to the United States, or especially Florida?
It is a vacation spot. Sorry.
He just kind of looks at it. Yes, indeed. Just utterly dismissive. But he's like, wait. The man in the memory that you grasped. My, aren't you a little young to be a superhero?
Which one is that to?
Oh, that was to Patience.
We all do the work the Lord calls to us.
Oh. Does the Lord speak to you?
No, but I, and she shows that her eyes are clearly not functional. But I still see in a way that makes sense for him to be real.
Oh, okay. Yeah, each must do as they've been blessed, I suppose. He seems really when you're not claiming the Lord is speaking directly to you, he seems to relax a lot. Oh, okay. She's just religious. Okay. But the man in your memory that memory was wearing something that I think I've seen before. And he describes as a little, the guy was in the memory was wearing a lot of jewelry, but he did have like a particular little amulet that it had a little pattern on it or something, but it wasn't looked like it was made of bronze. Because I think I've seen that. I think that's at the university. And he proceeds to tell you. Go ahead.
Maybe we should take a look at that amulet.
All right. He goes, "Oh yes, I can take you to see it. It's back over here, and if you look at the well, if I get where I can bloop stuff again. There we go. Over here in the area actually labeled University Park. I don't actually know exactly what university is there, but which is also interestingly enough, and you would notice that quickly if y'all looked on a map, more or less in line with the direction it was going. Or at least close enough that that would be a reasonable destination for it. And he mentions that the symbol on it would represent the sea in some of the Akkadian. They didn't call them hieroglyphs, or were they curiforms?
The form.
Yeah, something.
The form.
One of the very early languages. The Akkadians would have been more or less. I think their empire would have been more or less gone by the end, but their language was still the language of. Still going to be the language of court and the language of scholars. Because it hung around as that for a very long time. So he bundled, y'all can bundle off to the university. He takes you into an exhibit. The amulet's laying there. In and amongst a lot of other Bronze Age stuff. He tells you, it's not viewed as a particularly valuable piece. I mean, everything from that era that we can find in good shape is valuable to some degree, but it's not like it was a centerpiece of a display or anything. But if this thing is calling it, should we? Who do we notify for that?
We should probably just call Spear, let them deal with it. Or we could just have our flying friend here take it to the Arctic and just drop it off there. Or the Marianas Trench.
Well, the Marianas Trench might not hinder it.
Also, there's no guarantee. Trust me, there's no guarantee it won't be found there.
True.
And I don't have the authority to allow you to take a piece of the museum's collection.
Allow.
Miami does have its own superhero or two, so I mean.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna steal it. I just found it funny.
So do one of you contact Spear?
Yeah, Frostshine will ring him up.
You give the full report. They tell you the local office is already mobilizing to go out where the attack was. We need to start wrapping this up. It's almost 4:30, so, and we're about at the end. All right, so to kind of narrate the ending here, Spear shows up. They take the item into its possession with assurances to the museum that they're not going to do anything. That they're going to call in specialists to examine it. One of the agents kind of hints to you that if this thing winds up being a lure or whatever that was, they'll basically fly it to the other side of the Atlantic, and if the creature ends up getting close over there, fly it back. This is they don't handle kaiju a lot, but this is not the first time something like this has popped up.
But Patience would like to note to them, like, it doesn't know why it's trying to get to it.
The spirit agent's like, I'll leave that for the specialist to figure out. It's just if we can lure it around with it, then we can keep it away from populated places and shipping lanes and stuff.
The thing is, that might not be the only thing it's gonna call. What happens if you get a herd of them running around? Does that fly and teleport and crawl?
Or the flying one.
All right, at that point, he makes y'all break down and tell him, kind of the entire thing. He's like, okay. But that's above my pay grade. But I will I will send this in on the report so they'll have a think tank working on it. At some point, we probably have to call in the big boys to handle this. The professor Dabashi, he gives you a contact number. In all this explanation, he realizes you were out of towners. You just happened to be here. Thankfully. But if you ever need, to contact him or information, he doesn't know how often you superheroes need an archaeologist's help. But if it comes up, you can feel free to call him. You get an attaboy from Spear. The press in Miami is very, very big on you. The mayor wants to have like a little presentation. You wind up with a key to the city kind of thing. In the preceding week, the Spear guys are able to lure the monster off deeper into the sea. And that's really the last they tell you. You don't know what they're doing other than that. But yes, you have saved Miami. Truthfully, even the waterfront did not take all that much damage. It could have been a lot worse. What with all the stunnings and knocking prones and slamming back into the ocean. Y'all couldn't do much just physical damage to it all at once. But boy, you used
to make it such a one-sided offensive.
Yes, you use some tactics to just handle business.
When you're dealing with something that big and that nasty.
Well, I also like that you were using conditions and, maybe we're finally starting to get a better handle on the system than just the punching.
Yeah.
But, though the punching is fun. So, that'll wrap us here. All of you get... What is it? Advancements, what they call it? I always want to call it achievements, but I think it's
a stupendous advancement. 2 powers of your choice.
What page is that on?
184.
Okay. I had it marked with something, and then I moved that to... So I wouldn't lose the spot.
Accomplishment. That's what I've got written down.
That's the wrong one. It's achievements. Accomplishment must have been the one I was using. So yes, you all get a minor one of those to go along with whatever you've already got. Because this was just a one shot story. So yeah, so a minor achievement for all of you.
Patience has gone from 1 minor to 2 minors.
Oh, that's true. The Comet just debuted today, and all the rest of them have only been played the once. So
Yeah, I only had 1 episode apiece.
or it's weird. I thought it was a 2-parter with the dinosaurs. Maybe it wasn't. No, that's right. That was a 1-shot or 2. Yeah. I was thinking about something else. All right, well, that's going to wrap us up for today. Hope you all had fun. I enjoyed running it.
It was a blast.
Anybody that comes by and watches us later on YouTube or wherever, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you check us out again. Or listen to us in podcast format, but now I'm blanking on what the RSS feed is for that. So, if you search for Icons of the Wider World, I think it'll come up on your podcatcher apps. Let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to? I guess I'm used to my weekly game where I have to pimp out the other shows on Dire Bear. But so yes, 1 monster down, and you have a indication that there may be 2 more of these guys somewhere, but that might turn out to be problems for other superheroes.
Those darn kaiju.
All right, so we're gonna sign off, and we will see all of y'all later.
Bye-bye.
See ya.